And as you come to a comfortable seat, shift a little, move in your body. And especially if you've got a tight low back going on or tight hips going on, make sure that your seat is up a little higher this morning. And we get to remember that as we start to get a little bit colder in our temperatures, that our bodies need that extra time to warm up. So we'll create a little heat. We'll get into a little bit of core as was requested. And we get to just tune into being gently present with that need to build up some heat, okay? So gentle and heat don't tend to go together. However, it's kind of important, right? Because the gentleness is that act of compassion for ourselves. So let's take one more moment to shift and move sitting bones. And root with your palms into your legs, giving yourself that grounding action. And I even like that little movement of my hips to feel my sitting bones making contact. And then draw shoulders up and back. Lengthen the back of your neck and let your eyes close. And as you start to tune into a full deep breath, begin to let your breath move thoroughly. And as you let your breath move thoroughly, start to notice it all the way down into the lowest part of your belly. And notice it all the way up at your crown. And notice what shifts happen in your body by bringing awareness to your breath. Where do you expand and contract? Connecting palms together at your heart. Take another moment to tune into an intention for yourself, for your practice. We've already talked about a few heart-centered thoughts this morning. Gentleness, compassion, or two. Let's take a moment to decide what it is that you could use to cultivate inside and out. Take an inhale and sit just a little taller. Exhale and bow toward your heart. Then softly opening your eyes, release your hands down. And now let's shift forward right off into a child's pose. And take just a moment to give yourself the information of what's going on through hips, low back, maybe the connections of hamstrings. Shift and move. Then inhale, rise up to hands and knees and set yourself up, wrists under shoulders, knees under hips. Rotate elbow pits forward and push to expand into the upper back. And now tilt your sitting bones up, like you're trying to stick your butt in the air. Your belly will release a little downward. But now engage your low glutes. Squeeze in with your low glutes and your low belly. Keep that lift of your sitting bones, that tilt of your pelvis, even as you engage the muscles. Keep that action going. Inhale, reach your right leg back behind you. And then walk your left fingertips forward. And as you push down with your right hand, lift your low ribs, engaging into your upper core. Rotate your right leg so your toes are aimed down. Now, as you engage your low belly and your low ribs, begin to lift your left arm. Take a full big breath. Exhale, release both hands, both knees back to the ground. Pause again, find that rotation of elbow pits and push. Start to activate the low ribs here. That's the upper part of the core. Tilt your sitting bones up and engage low glutes, low belly. Inhale, reach your left leg back, right fingertips forward. Pause and re-engage the low ribs. Rotate your left leg so your inner thigh is lifting, your toes are turning down. Engage your low belly and then lift your right arm. Take a full big breath and remember that you can always come back to touching fingertips down instead. Full inhale, long deep exhale. Next exhale, both hands, both knees come back to the ground. Pause and re-rotate upper arm bones and push. Tilt your pelvis so sitting bones lift and engage low glutes, low belly. Inhale, right leg lifts, reaching it back behind you. Turn open with your hips. Stay strong through your shoulders. Low ribs are pulling in. Low belly is engaged. Now bend your right knee and start to draw your right knee toward your right elbow. Maybe it touches, maybe it hovers somewhere in between, but think of lifting your knee up. Tone your low belly, tone your low ribs. Then inhale, stretch it back behind you, turning open. Exhale, step your right foot forward in between your hands. Hands can come up to blocks here if you would like. Work your back knee back as far as you need and push down with your back knee. Think of that little lift through your hip crease on your back leg. Then lift up into gratitude or reach your arms, whatever feels the best to your body. Find engagement of low belly, low ribs. Inhale, lift your heart up a little higher. And exhale, hands come down to the front of your mat. Find your blocks here or whatever you're using. Shift your hips back, front leg towards straight, coming into this hamstring stretch. And as we find this place, it's never an easy stretch, I don't think for anybody. Pull your toes back towards your nose and wrap your right hip back. And now send your sitting bones up here. As you do that, engage your low belly and your low glutes. That low glute engagement here actually hugs the glutes into the hamstring connections. So it might stop a little bit of the intense sensation. Take a big deep breath. Inhale, bend into your front knee and step back onto hands and knees. And from this place again, set yourself up. Rotate elbow pits forward and push. Engage low glutes, low belly. Stretch back with your left leg. This time turn open with your hips. Again, stay strong and lifted through your ribs, your low belly. Extend your chest forward even as you find that engagement. Often we tend to super round here through our upper back, but extend your front. Good, then bend your knee and draw your knee in towards your left elbow. Maybe it touches, maybe it hovers to the side, but lift it up. Stay engaged through your low belly and your low ribs. Then inhale, stretch back and open up. Exhale, step through with your left foot in between your hands. Blocks underneath your hands here if you would like. Work your back knee back as far as your body is ready for. And you're bending into your front knee to a point of stacking with your front shin. Push down with your back knee. Find that lift through your upper thigh. Then inhale, lift up to either gratitude or reach. You could even take hands to your low back here. But pause wherever that is. Shoulders are lifted. Engage your low belly and your low ribs. Inhale, chest lifts. Exhale, hands come down to the front of your mat. Find your blocks. And work back with your hips, front leg towards straight. You can shift where your heel is to make it a little bit more comfortable for you. Comfort is relative. Pull toes back towards your nose and wrap your left hip back. And now as you send your sitting bones up and extend your heart forward, find that engagement again. Low glutes hug in, low belly hugs in. That kind of happens naturally At the same time, low glutes and low belly are connected. So see if you can find that action. And then inhale, bend into your front knee, plant your hands. Step back to hands and knees, big toes together, knees wide, hips to heels. Take a child's pose and take a moment to tune into any shifts that are starting to show up for you in your body. Two more full breaths, tuning into the intention you set at the start of class. Then inhale, rise up to hands and knees. Rotate elbow pits forward and push. Tuck your toes under, lift your hips up and back, downward facing dog pose. And now from here, bend your knees until your sitting bones even more upward. From that place, engage low glutes and low belly. As you rotate elbow pits forward and push, think of pushing from your lats out through your hands. Then inhale, come forward into a plank pose, and you're gonna pause. So if you want to, you can set your knees down, that's okay. The plank is one of the best places to focus on engaging the core. That luckily we have some variations that we can do because we're gonna stay here for a few breaths. Say, yay! Rotate elbow pits forward and push, but then remember, extend your front, make your front body grow longer, pull low belly in, pull your low ribs in, take a big breath and try to get your back body to expand. Two more deep breaths right here. Then lift your hips up and back into your downward facing dog pose and take a full breath. And now walking your feet forward, coming into your forward fold at the front of your mat. Blocks for hands if you want. Take an inhale and lengthen partway. Exhale and fold over your legs. Pause in your fold here. You can take your feet wider than your hips if you would like. You can let your arms hang. You can hold on to opposite elbows, but take a moment to move a little bit here. A little movement side to side with your torso. Maybe a little bend of one knee at a time. Then releasing your hands down, again, blocks if you want. Step your right foot back into your lunge. And now turn and plant your back heel. Push into the floor with your feet. Inhale, rise up to your warrior two for a moment as you settle into that front knee and open it up. Lift your ribs and your heart up high. Take your gaze over your front fingers. Full deep inhale. Long, full exhale. Next exhale, hands come down to your blocks. You tuck your back toes under and work your front leg towards straight. So one of the best ways to work through low back stuff is to stretch the hamstrings along with opening the hips. So as you work that front leg towards straight, give your back knee a little bend and send your sitting bones up. And now shift your weight over to your left, or just kidding, your right hand. Left thumb into your hip crease and give your hip crease a push back even as you tilt your sitting bones up. Now engage low glutes, low belly, extend your chest further forward. Take another deep breath right here. Good, inhale, bend into your front knee, plant hands and step back, downward facing dog pose. Take a deep breath. Inhale, lift your right leg to the sky. Three-legged dog. Hips are centered here, so you're not turning open with your hips, but leveling them off. Pressing your left thigh back. Now, inhale, come forward into a three-legged plank pose. You can always have your back knee on the ground, but tone your low belly, tone your low ribs, Rotate elbow pits forward and extend your chest. Take one more big breath. Good, set both feet down and then lift up and back, downward facing dog pose. Full inhale, long, deep exhale. Inhale, lift your left leg to the sky, and again, rotate your left hip down so that your hips become more level. Press your right thigh back, engage your low belly, engage your low ribs, and then come forward into your three-legged plank. And again, your right knee can always come to the ground. But tone your belly again, because we often lose that when we transition. Tone your low ribs, extend your chest. Big breath. Both sets of toes down. Lift your hips up and back, downward facing dog pose. And now lower knees down for a moment, hips to heels. Take one full breath. Then inhale, rise to hands and knees. Exhale, downward facing dog pose. Walk your way forward, coming into forward fold at the front of your mat. Blocks under your hands here if you would like. Inhale, extend your heart. Exhale, fold over your legs. Step your left foot back into your lunge. Turn and plant your back heel and inhale, rise to warrior two on the second side. Opening your front knee up and settling in. And as you settle in, notice length through your sides. Gaze over your front fingers. Deep breath. Exhaling, both hands come down to the front of your mat. Find your blocks. Toes tuck under behind you and then work your front leg towards straight. Your big toe mound gets to stay pressing down on your right foot. Wrap your right hip back. Bend your back knee and tilt your sitting bones up. And now shifting your weight again so that you're coming onto the left hand here, right thumb into your hip crease. As you push your hip crease back, tilt your sitting bones up again, and then engage. Low glutes, hug them in. Low belly. Extend your chest. One more deep breath. Inhale, bend into your front knee. Plant your hands and step all the way back, downward facing dog pose. Full deep breath. Now, as you rotate elbow pits forward and push, look at your hands and notice the four corners of your palms pressing. All your fingertips pressing. Inhale, come forward into your plank. Knees down if you would like. Stay rotating elbow pits forward. Extend your chest. Tone your low belly, tone your low ribs. And then as you bend your elbows, lower down, all the way to your belly. From here, hands right by your rib cage. Legs reach back one at a time and then root down through tops of feet and knees. And then engage your low belly and take a big exhale. Find your low ribs knitting together. Inhale, curl open through your chest. Exhale, engage low ribs, low belly. Inhale, lift up and open through your heart. Exhale, engage. Inhale, if you'd like to, hover your legs and hover your hands. If that's a lot for you or if it bothers the low back, you can always come lower into your cobra and set your legs and hands down. Take a big deep breath. Lift shoulders up and back. One more deep breath. Then set down hands and legs. Push all the way back into a child's pose. Full big breath. And now inhale, rise to hands and knees. Exhale, downward facing dog pose. And walk your way forward, coming into your forward fold. Take an inhale and lengthen. Exhale and fold. Inhale, bent knees, squeeze your glutes and low belly, reach your arms and rise all the way up. Exhale, hands come to your heart. Close your eyes and take a deep breath. Softly open your eyes. And now take your hands behind to clasp. And if clasping is a bit much today, then you're welcome to keep hands at hips or fists at low back. But lift your shoulders up and back, big expansion through your chest, a little bend to your knees to start with, and push your inner thighs back. Then engage your low glutes and your low belly. Engage your low ribs. Inhale, lift your chest, and now settle into your chair pose, sitting your hips back, but keeping your chest and your heart open. Big, deep breath. Good, keeping your head lifted to the back plane of your body. Again, re-engage your core. Low ribs all the way to your low belly. And now, tilt forward on your toes and rock up off of your heels. So now you're on your tiptoes. Hug in with the muscles of your legs. Lift your chest, even as you settle a little lower with your hips. Good, take another full breath. Tone your belly, tone your low ribs. Exhale, lower your heels down and fold over your legs. As you fold, take another couple of deep breaths, letting the back of your neck be long. Shift and move a little bit through your torso. And then release your hands down and step all the way back into a child's pose. And as you find this child's pose, again, shift and move through your hips. Tune into the connections of low back, hips, hamstrings. One more deep breath. Then inhale, gently rise all the way up. And then shift all the way down onto sitting bones. And now we'll come all the way down onto our backs. Just make sure you can reach all your props. And as you make your way onto your back, hug your knees in close. Rock a couple times, just letting your back body expand, lengthen. And now as you set your footprints on the ground, take your hands to your upper thighs, right up at your hip creases, and give that push like you're trying to push your thigh bones forward. The lift might happen through your low back. And then take that deep breath into your low back muscles. Take another 3 deep breaths right here. And now cross right ankle over your left knee and lift your legs up toward your body, flex your feet, and rock a little side to side. And then as you come back into center, make sure feet are still flexed. This provides stability for ankles and knees. And then draw your legs in as close to your body as you're ready for. If you would like to, you can take your right thumb into your hip crease and give your hip crease a little push forward. Full deep breath. And then gently switch legs. Left ankle over your right knee. And as you draw your legs in towards you, flex your feet. And draw them in only as close as your body is ready for. And again, if you'd like to, you can take your left thumb into your hip crease and give your hip crease a push. It helps to even out your hips and to lengthen your side. And then gently set both feet on the ground. Walking feet toward your sitting bones. Knees are inner hip distance apart. Press your elbows down into the ground, and we'll move with our breath just 3 times. As you inhale, lift your hips up. And as you exhale, lower your hips back down. Inhale, lift your hips up, coming into your bridge pose. And exhale, lower back down. One more time. Inhaling to lift, hug knees in. Exhale, lower all the way back down. And then pull both knees in toward your chest and take a quick twist over to the right side. You might set your knees on something, but we'll just take 3 breaths. One more deep inhale, long, full exhale. Then inhale your knees back up to center and exhale a quick twist over to the left side. Doesn't have to be the deepest twist you've ever taken, but 3 breaths. Then inhale back up to center and start to set yourself up into your most comfortable resting pose, your Shavasana. Start to set props underneath you, or maybe a blanket over the top of you. Start to find how your body feels the most secure and stable and able to let go. Bring awareness back to your breath. Gently bring awareness to fingers and toes, beginning to add a little movement. Then as you're ready to, bend your knees and roll to your side. And gently push yourself up to your seat. And from your seat, stack one hand over the other on your heart. With your eyes closed, take a moment to fully fill up with breath. Have a very peaceful and beautiful rest of your day. Namaste. Thanks, you guys.